You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Who that family? Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform stores where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and who that too.
Thanks, Pelicans. You're now tuned into the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. What's going on, family? All the Pelican family in the building, big ups to you. On this special edition, this special Monday edition of the Pelican post-game report, coming at you. The Pels introduced SVG, as we affectionately call him, Stan Van Gundy, introduced at the New Orleans Pelicans during the press conference today. Stan Van had a lot to talk about, and we have a lot to talk about. We're going to preview or actually recap that interview on this installment of the show. I'm Big Q, chiming in on the Pelican Post-Game Report for this edition. Going to bring in my co-host on the Pelican Post-Game Report, DC. How you doing, my friend?
You. Good, bro. No complaints over here.
Good, bro. Stan Van was the subject in this special Pelican post-game report coming at you for Tuesday. Very interesting. We didn't want to wait until Friday. Wanted to cover this now. So we'll play the summation, as much of it as we possibly could, of Stan Van Gundy's press conference. And, of course, we'll get feedback and from the chat as well. And we'll give our analysis on Stan Van Gundy and a lot of the stuff that he'll talk about in his press conference. It'll answer some questions a lot of family members had about the direction of the Pelicans and if Stan Van is the man to move this team in the right direction. Well, like I've said, it don't feel like it was a Trajan Langdon move to me. It feel like more of a Griffin than Langdon move. Still waiting to see the rest of his staff develop. But Gail Benson was in presence. We won't play much of Gail or Griffin, where we're going to just get into Stan Van's commentary, because I know that a lot of the Pelican faithful want to see what Stan Van could do for the Pelicans. And listen, the guy knows basketball. He's not my handpicked, me or DC's handpicked choice to run the operation. Of course, we like Mark Jackson, but he's blackballed. And we like several other coaches, including Kenny Atkinson, Will Weaver, and the likes. But it is what it is. Stan Van Gundy is a good coach. He's a winner. He's won everywhere he's won. Now, DC, before we get off into it, I'm going to have you to give you a quick analogy on what was just said. But big ups to the rest of the family in the chat. BR Fitted 225, big ups to you. Says Everson Griffin to Detroit for a conditional 6th-round pick. We covered it on TSC Q&A live.
Damn.
Supreme Josh, what up, Supreme Josh?
Man.
Good to see you in the chat. Jim Kev, good to see you in the chat as well. Jasper Bowden, big up seeing all the Pelican faithful on the show today. DC, what do you think about that introduction?
Well, I'm trying to process that Everson Griffin of Detroit news, man. I must have missed that. You know, I'm a little taken back for a second. 6th-round pick, man. Goddamn, that would have been easy.
2021.
Wow. It ain't like we use ours anyway.
There you go.
But yes, Stan Van the man, bro. I'm excited to hear what he got to say, bro. I like the initial parts of the interview I heard, which I know we're gonna get into, and bearing the circumstances and the season getting kicked off and all this, you know, I'm starting to lean in your direction of thinking, even though I was opposed to that last show of it being a what was your words? A rush hire,
Desperation hire.
desperation hire. Yeah, because they're talking about kicking off the season December 22nd. Q, I don't know if we talked about that or
Yeah.
if you said that or not.
We covered it on TSC Unleashed where they were contemplating starting the season. So that's why I was saying I knew that ultimately the draft is supposed to be mid-November-ish, I think. And then, of course, the next month they want to
November
jump.
18th.
So, middle of November. And then, of course, the next month, toward the back end of the month, they wanted to fire off the season to get ready and take advantage of that December 25th date, which is one of their most popular dates in the NBA basketball-wise.
Right. So with that going on, man, and they had to make a decision, and I think bearing the circumstances, this isn't the worst decision they could have made. The more I think about it, the more I look into it. I can't say I'm happy about it, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit. Like, okay, this may be all right, because clearly from what I'm looking at, just looking into him and what he focuses on, man, Zion about to be unleashed, bro. He's definitely going to turn Zion into a monster. Bearing him being healthy and getting his weight, keeping his weight together, because obviously appears he's gotten it together again. If you guys have looked at that article from what was that Man's Fitness, I think, or Men's Health, had an article showing Zion and him actually opening it up and going into his whole thing about his weight and all that. But if he keep that together, and he talks about Jackson Hayes being a shot blocker, so they have a vision for Jackson Hayes, man, and just listening to him, I don't think we gonna pull off no trades, Big Q. At least not with the core group we got getting rid of any of them guys.
Right. Well, go ahead, friend.
I was just saying which might be a good thing for his system and winning right now. So this might be a good thing, y'all. We might have to lighten up on Stan Van the man a little while, bro, till we see it actually in action and give him a chance.
Well, I got to give it to you, DC. You said it right on the money. That Van Gundy's he wasn't our hand-picked favorite for this job. He kind of snuck in there. But what he does provide is a winner. You look at his resume, the places that he's been, the guy knows basketball. He knows how to get the most out of the team, and he wins. But the issue with Stan Van is, of course, his character wears on you, and he doesn't stay in a lot of places. Well, he was with Miami for, about a dozen years or so, I want to say, about 10 or so years. But, as his last remaining stops, he was there for, 4 or 5 years each stop. And I think eventually the message gets stale. I think the Pelicans did a good job in giving him that 4-year mark. And what I'm looking to see, because I know Stan will coach these guys up, but I'm looking to see who is his assistant coaches look, because that'll give you an idea of what the future looks once Stan Van builds the team up and then the next guy comes in and help them move the way. So like I said, this was a desperation hire, in my opinion, because of the fact that, yes, you're right, the season is ultimately really close to getting started again, and they wanted to have that staff in place so they can move into the draft and free agency and do what needs to be happening. And, of course, having a veteran guy that knows how to fix the defense and the things that Stan Van Gundy was talking about would definitely help the team as well. So big ups to the rest of the Pelican faithful in the chat. DJ, I see you. Donald Woods Jr., big ups to you as well, homie.
DJ.
Devin C., big ups to you, fam. Good to see y'all in the chat. Please hit the like button and share of the links. Now, without further ado, if you didn't hear it, we're going to play Stan the Man Van Gundy, as he is your new Orleans Pelicans new head coach. Here's Stan Van Gundy's introductory press conference.
Thanks to Mrs. Benson and to Dennis Lauscha, to David Griffin, Trajan Langdon, Swin Cash, Bryson Graham, and the entire front office for giving me this great opportunity. I was really enjoying being a TV analyst. I wanted to coach again, but only if we could find an absolutely great opportunity. And New Orleans had it all. First of all, a governors and executive group that has proven that they know how to win at the professional level, as the footballs over Greg Bensel's head and behind Mrs. Benson as they spoke indicate. And on top of that, a group that is totally committed to the New Orleans community, which is important to Kim and I as we were looking for people to work for. And then David Griffin's proven ability to build championship level teams, but also we were very impressed with the front office team that he has put together in New Orleans and the family atmosphere that he is trying to build within the organization and within our basketball team. And then, of course, it's a very exciting roster, a mix of very talented young players and some productive, high-character veterans. And then finally, a great city that Kim and I are excited about and can't wait to live in. And then probably when we knew for sure that we had made the right decision was last night when the communications team told me instead of jacket and tie, I could wear a polo at the introductory press conference. Okay, so I knew right then I was on it. While Griff and Trajan and their staff are in preparation for the draft and free agency, we're also all already at work getting ready for the season, hiring staff, working together to hire staff. I'm trying to get to know our players. I've spoken to all of them, starting to meet with them in person and spending time studying film. I can't wait to get back on the court and to try to build a tough, disciplined team that truly won't bow down. And finally, to the people of New Orleans, my wife and I can't wait for the opportunity to represent the city and to immerse ourselves in the community. We're more than excited to be a part of the New Orleans Pelicans organization and to get started trying to build a winner here.
Thank you very much, Coach. We're going to open it up to questions now. Just as a reminder, if you can please state your name and affiliation prior to asking your question, that would be great. We're going to lead off with Fletcher Mackel.
Coach, welcome to New Orleans. So many questions. I get one though, so I'll try to make the most of it, at least to start with. Was there one final thing? You just went through a myriad of things, the city, Mrs. Benson, David Griffin. Was there one final thing that potentially sold you or that you sold them on that made this the decision that it is? Was it Griff? Was it Mrs. Benson? Was it the roster? Can you pinpoint maybe one thing specific?
Well, Fletcher, thanks. I mean, that is hard because it really was all of those things. I mean, there were so many great things, and there truly was not even one red flag anywhere that would make you hesitate. If I had to pick one thing, I would say that, I met with Griff and Trajan and then with the entire front office and then with Griff again. And so I think if it was one thing, it was really my connection, and not just mine and my wife's connection with Griff, to where I really came to believe in him. And not only his vision for the team, that was important, but just the type of person he is and how he wants to operate.
Hey Stan, I'm Christian Clark with NOLA.com. This roster is loaded with guys who are 25 or younger. How is coaching a team different or unique, when it has a bunch of young guys as opposed to a team that has guys in their, second, third, fourth contracts?
Yeah, I don't know that it's all that much different. I think the one thing is, and I've already talked to our players, and I don't want them, certainly, or us, to ever use that youth as an excuse. I think sometimes you can start with, we were young, and that's why we turned the ball over 3 times in the last 2 minutes of a tied game. Listen, they're all great players, and they came into this league young because of their talent. It's time to play and compete, and so I don't want to use that as an excuse. But as far as the coaching, what makes it different is, there's a lot of teaching to do and to bring these guys along. The NBA game is different than the college game in some ways, and learning all of those things, there has to be more teaching. There has to be a real emphasis placed on their development. They are far from finished products at this point in their career, no matter how good they are. And we have to keep that in mind every day.
This question is for both Stan and for Griff. This is Scott Kushner with the Times-Picayune. You've mentioned accountability. I think everybody on has already mentioned the word accountability. The most important person, I guess you could say, that all of you have to hold accountable is Zion Williamson. What is, your strategy or your mission or whatever you could call it, to connecting with Zion and then holding him accountable to developing into the superstar that you think he can or should be?
Griff, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, so Scott, thanks for the question, first of all. I would take exception to he's the most important person that we need to hold accountable. Part of what we're trying to build here is nobody is more important than anybody else. This is a we.
I wonder if Trajan Langdon now.
One of the things that we're most excited about relative to Zion is he feels the same way. He doesn't want to be put on a pedestal. He doesn't want to be singled out in any way, shape, or form. And accountability starts with, you're just one of us. And I think Coach Van Gundy would agree with that. It's certainly been how he's built his teams to this point.
I absolutely agree with that. And here's the other part of that. I think sometimes when we're talking about accountability, we start to think of, the coach or the GM or the vice president, or whoever it is, coming down on people. And that's not it. A lot of it is in talking to Zion and which I've talked to him on the phone. I can't wait to sit down with him in person. But as Griff said, it's with everybody on our team and getting a feel for what their goals are and where they want to go in their career and what they want to see this team do. And then trying to help them get to that point and hold them accountable to those things that they know they need to do to get there. And a lot of times that's what accountability is all about is, hey, you told me you want to be the best player in the NBA. You told me that you want to be part of a championship team. And then you also told me these are the things it takes. Well, I'm going to hold you accountable to that every day. So it's not us coming down on Zion or anybody else on the roster. It's us trying to help them. And accountability is a big part of that.
What's up, Stan? This is Will Guillory with The Athletic. It's been a little over 2 years since the last time you coached in a game. I wonder how long did you expect to be away from coaching that long, and how much has your perspective changed during that time?
I didn't have expectations, Will, one way or another, as far as how long I would be away. But I do think the time away, I've been through it before, I think it helps in that, you sort of get out of that tunnel vision mode of your own team and you see what's going on with everybody and what works, what doesn't work, things you like, things you don't like. It allows you to really zero in on that and I think grow a great deal and open up to different perspectives. So, I kept notes for 2.5 years on games that I watched, on things I heard in clinics, on coaches that I talked to, and all of those things will allow me to be even better this time around.
Hi, Coach. We're so excited to have you in New Orleans. This is Jen Hale, the sideline reporter for the Pelicans and Fox Sports New Orleans. Give us a little rundown of what you like about the team. Where are the strengths in this roster?
Hey, Jen.
What do you anticipate being some of the changes we'll see on the court when the season begins?
Thanks, Jen. Look, as I said before, the thing that's most exciting to me is I think when Griff and Trajan and their team started putting together this roster last year, there's a great mix. There's a lot of exciting young talent with the potential to really grow into something great. But alongside of them, you've got some very productive, high character veterans. So, with great experience. So that to me, that mix is the most exciting thing. As we get more specific, I think, it's a team that has proven they can play with great pace. There's incredible depth on the team. We've got a lot of people who can shoot the ball. And then you've got two of the most unique young guys in the entire league. Brandon Ingram, who's the most improved player in the league, is one of those really tall, long guys who plays like a point guard who can get to anywhere on the floor and score the ball. And then I don't even know the comparison to Zion. He's unique in the way he plays, but this is a guy coming off an injury for most of the year that was able to come in and be extremely productive and efficient. There's just not people like that. So, there's just a lot to build around there. As far as changes, it's not a change when I'm talking, and I love that Griff started this whole thing off by giving so much credit to Alvin, because Alvin's a guy that I've always had great respect for, both as a coach and as a person. So it's never a comparison between Alvin did it this way, I'm going to do it this way. A lot of it is just where we are in the development of this team. And I think it's clear just by the numbers that where this team has to get better is at the defensive end of the floor. And we're going to have to make a real commitment at that end. From a coaching staff point of view, that commitment is to do a great deal of teaching and getting down to where we really understand what we're doing on that end of the floor. And from a player's point of view, the players are going to have to make the commitment that if we want to win at a high level in a very, very talented Western Conference, then we are going to have to be a very good defensive team, and they're going to have to put in the time and effort. So it's all of us have to make the commitment to get better at that end.
Rod Walker, go ahead.
Hey Stan, going back to, this is Rod Walker with the Times-Picayune, sort of going back to what Will Guillory asked you, but how much did you actually miss coaching these past 2 seasons?
Yeah, you always miss it. So at first, it's like anything, you're in the grind and you're grinding, and then you get away from it. And, for a few months, it's nice to not have it on your mind. But then the season starts up again and you're watching games and taking notes like I always do and things like that. And your mind starts working and you want to get back to that. And the longer it goes, the more you want to get back to it. And for me, broadcasting the games in the bubble and being just sort of immersed in basketball for 3 months there, 2.5, 3 months, yeah, you're sort of itching to get back to it. You're seeing things on a daily basis that you like and don't like and can think about implementing with a team. So yeah, I missed it a great deal and I'm excited to be back at it. But again, would have still only done it in a great situation. I was not in a situation where I would have just taken any job. There was only one job I even tried to get involved with. That was this job, and it was because of all the things that we talked about before. And I'm really excited to coach this group.
Hey Stan, Christian Clark with Null.com here one more time. You're one of the few people in the NBA who has perspective of, you've held the dual role of president of basketball operations and coach. Of course, before that, you're just a coach, but a couple years removed from that, I'm just curious, what your perspective is on, having that much on your plate. Not that is necessarily the case now.
Right. No, I will say this. I mean, one of the things I'm really excited about is just getting back into a coaching role and letting Griff and Trajan and Swin and Bryson worry about that other stuff. Griff mentioned the other day me watching a draft candidate, and I started like shaking, like, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. I'm really excited about just being able to zero back in on our roster, developing the players that we have, and getting our team to play the best basketball that we possibly can. That is one of the really exciting things for me coming back after this short layoff.
Hey Stan, this is Andrew Lopez with ESPN. Two questions for you, if I may. One, can you talk about the relationship you have with JJ Redick and how that maybe played a role into this? And then when you were talking about the defense, you mentioned your assistant coaches. Have you decided anything as to what your coaching staff will look like just yet?
Okay, my relationship with JJ is
good question.
One that I treasure. JJ and I were together 5 years in Orlando. I saw him work every single day, one of the most focused, committed people I have seen in 25 years in this league. And just somebody who's very thoughtful about the game, but about everything in life. So he's somebody that I've stayed in touch with over these last 8 years. When we haven't been together, I have great respect for him. And one of the things that he said to me, and probably the most important thing is he said, we have great people on this team. These are all great people. There's not one bad guy here, Stan. You're going to love coaching this team. And so that was meaningful to me because I know when JJ talks about somebody being a great person, a teammate, I know what his standards are, and they're very high. And so that was meaningful to me. As far as staff, that's something that Griff and his group in the front office and I are working on together. And right now, we don't have anything that we're ready to announce, but we're moving along on that front. And I think we've got some outstanding candidates and some very good ideas, and that should come together relatively soon. The way the NBA is going, we might be starting training camp next Monday, so we'd have to try to get a staff sometime over the weekend, I guess.
Hey Stan, this is Will Guillory again from The Athletic. Going back to my first question, just throughout all those notes you've taken and all the games you've watched, how much do you think, and what specific ways do you think the league has changed since you've been gone, and how much do you think your coaching philosophy will have to adjust because of those changes?
Well, first of all, Will, I should be asking you a question. How many pairs of kicks we got back there, my man? Yeah, there you go. Look, the game continues to evolve and change, but some of it starts to come back full circle. So we continue to see the three-point shooting rising, the number of attempts. Because of that, the amount of switching in the league defensively has gone up and changes the way you need to play offensively. I think we've seen more zone defense, and that changes you offensively. Certainly positionless basketball is becoming more and more of a reality. But a lot of people want to refer to things as small ball. And I think, what we're really seeing is the value of big, skilled players. So it's perimeter ball, not small ball. And that allows you to do things at both ends of the floor. But look, as the game changes, you always have to adjust as a coach. Every night you have to adjust based on who you're playing. So it's not like the game is dramatically different than it was in 2018, the last time I was coaching, where I'm coaching a whole different sport. There's just things that you've got to do a little bit differently, and there's some different actions that people favor that you probably need to spend a little bit more time working on than we did a couple years ago.
Scott Kushner again with the Times-Picayune. Stan, where do you kind of envision Zion's role? Is he a 5? Is he a 4? I mean, the way the NBA is right now is obviously so different than it was even 5 years ago. He's a unique body type with unique skill set. Do you have to kind of go through a preseason to know what he is, or do you have like a vision for him in your head right now?
I would say both on that, right? I think you have a vision for what he is, which is a multi-talented guy. I mean, he is an unbelievable playmaker for a guy at his size. He's a guy who can take the ball off the glass and lead the break and make plays. He can make passes off of the dribble. He can finish over bigger people inside. I mean, you know, he's a multi-talented guy. I don't look at him in any way as far as is he a 4 or a 5. I'm not sure those labels matter when it comes to him. I think as we study and try to get more definitive and talk to Zion about what he likes, I think it's more what positions we want to put him in and who's best around him and things like that. It's not limiting him to a position. And I think we'll get to a starting point of that at the start of the season. And my guess is as time goes on, I'm going to find out that he can do even more than I think he can do, and things will evolve from there.
Coach, this is David Grubb with thebirdrights.com. First, welcome to New Orleans. Second, one of the things that I've heard you talk about a lot when you were addressing the Pelicans prior to taking this job was understanding how talented this backcourt was,
I know that.
and utilizing some positionless situations for Lonzo Ball. Also, you talked about the front court and improving the interior defense. How do you get Lonzo maximized in the half court, and then how do you start addressing those defensive problems on the interior for this team?
Well, I think for one thing, you know, I'm going to start with the second question, is when you're talking interior defense, people tend to focus just on the big guys themselves. I would say the first thing on interior defense is let's try to keep the ball out of the interior. If the ball is getting in to the heart of the defense on a regular basis, we're going to have problems. Our defense is going to get broken down, and we're going to get into foul trouble, and those poor big guys are going to constantly be in compromising situations. So I don't think we can leave it to just those guys on the inside. But there's a lot of, once the ball does break you down, and inevitably it will against good teams, there's a lot of ways to play interior defense. You know, that there are guys who are shot blockers, like Jackson Hayes is going to be. There are guys who are great position defenders and really understand the principle of verticality. There are guys who are really physical. There are guys who will take charges. And we need all of that. It's not just our big guys playing interior defense. You know, everybody's got to be willing to put themselves between the ball and the basket and prevent the ball getting to the rim. So I think interior defense is huge. But I think sometimes we tend to place the burden on that just on a couple guys, like everything else with defense or offense for that matter. It's a team thing, keeping the ball away from the rim, and we're going to have to do a lot of work in that regard. And I also forgot your first question now.
I'm sorry, Coach, but it was just about, you talked about Lonzo maybe being a little bit more positionless, using him in the full court to advance the ball and create those opportunities and mismatches, and then in the half court potentially using him more off the ball. Is that something that you noticed in watching film of him and just seeing that maybe that's the next step in his development?
Well, my initial thoughts on Lonzo Ball are this, on the offensive end of the floor. Number one, I don't think there is anyone better in the NBA of advancing the ball up the floor for your team quickly to allow you to go on the attack before the other team's defense is set. So many times in watching the Pelicans, both to do broadcasting and now starting to study our team, there's so many times every game we'll here catch an outlet or an inbounds pass and advance the ball up the floor on the pass without ever taking a dribble. And that is very unique in the NBA, and I think really puts guys like Drew Holiday, like J.J. Redick for shots, like Brandon Ingram on the attack, like Zion Williamson. That puts them in positions where the defense isn't set and it's tough to get in to help. And then the biggest step that Lonzo took last year is, with his three-point shooting, he improved that greatly. And not only does that help him as a player, but the space it creates on the floor for your other creators, for guys like Drew Holiday and Brandon Ingram, is really good for your basketball team. And then the third thing I would say, and this is something I can't say that I know for sure, I'm just saying this from what I'm watching on film. Lonzo Ball seems like a very smart basketball player to me, and smart basketball players eventually figure it out. I went through that with JJ Redick, right? I mean, he came in, it took him a little bit of time to build his career, but smart, hardworking guys figure it out as time goes on and continue to improve. So I think as good as Lonzo is now, and he's very good, I think that we can expect a good arc of improvement for him over the next few years.
Hello, Coach. Hello from Greece. Congratulations about your new chapter. I have one question for you and one question for Trajan Langdon. First of all, about you. What impressed you most about last season's Pelicans? And also, what result will make you satisfied about next season?
What impressed me about last season's Pelicans?
Yes.
I love the pace that they played with. And in my mind, watching them, I thought they were an unselfish team. I didn't think there was anybody on their team that was a ball stopper and that was trying to force the issue. I thought the ball moved pretty freely, and I think that gives you a chance to play really good offense on a consistent basis.
And about next season, what the result will make you satisfied as a coach?
You know that's interesting, because that's something that Griffin, Trajan, and I talked about when we were interviewing, and I'm not a big believer in setting those kind of goals. And it's not that I'm afraid that I'll set the goals too high. I'm afraid you'll set the goals too low. So, let's say that you set the goal of making the playoffs or being over 500, and then with, 3 weeks to go in the season, you're in the 6th spot and you're 10 games over 500. What? We can just shut it down now? Look, I know it's cliche. I understand that it is, but it's true also. And I think our goal, and I think Griff and Trajan, Swin and Bryson, I think their goal as well is, with our team, literally is, we want to get better every single day. We want to make improvement every single day. And if we're doing that, and if we're committed to the work that has to go into doing those things, then the results will take care of themselves.
And also one question about the Trajan Langdon. Trajan, you collaborate with some great coaches in Europe. One of them was Dusan Ivkovic. Did you see any similarities about the philosophy of Stan Van Gundy?
I think the one thing that really stood out with Stan, thanks for your question, by the way, was just his
There you go.
passion about the game of basketball. His open-mindedness, his curiosity about the game. I think he's alluded to it already during this press conferences in his time out. He was still looking at ways to get better as a coach. He was listening to a lot of Zooms. He was taking a lot of notes. He talked to us about a clinic that he was a part of over in Iceland with a lot of great names. Coaches from Europe. So I think that curiosity and that open-mindedness has a lot of similarities with some of the great coaches that I've interacted with and played for over in Europe. And really excited to have Stan with us and to be able to learn from him in these years going forward.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach Stan, this is Shamit Dua from Bourbon Street Shots. A few years ago, you had a panel at Sloan's MIT conference about analytics and stuff. How do you think the relationship between coaching and analytics has changed since then, and what do you think your relationship is with it?
I think analytics is very, very helpful, and I think one of the probably underappreciated off-season moves that Griffin, his front office staff, had made was bringing Michael Hartman in, to head up analytics here with the Pelicans. And he and I were actually texting on some things last night. And I started with, I asked him one question, and then I had another idea I wanted an answer with, and then I had another idea of something we could do. So, I think he's in the process of moving, and I hope I'm not making him so he doesn't want to come back because I'm throwing so much at him. But I can't wait to spend time with him and ask him questions, because there's a lot of things that I'm curious about that I think I might want to do differently in terms of coaching philosophy. But I want to know what the analytics say about those things. So I look forward to having a great relationship with Michael and trying to wear him out, actually.
All right. Halfway through it, man. We got a few minutes left for the Stan Van Gundy presser. Pels introduced Stan the Man Van Gundy as the Pelicans coach. We'll continue the press conference on the other side of the break. Stick with us. You listen to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network.
Remington Tax Solutions is a company that, together with their partners, provide virtual tax consultation and preparation for individuals, small business, and nonprofit. They also provide notary and a host of other business-related services for their clients. Their associates provide a systematic yet very client-centered approach to their services. They offer the industry knowledge and insight to help solve your most complex tax issues. At Remington, their currency is time, the one resource that cannot be replenished. For that reason, they utilize the simplest and most effective forms of technology to make their services faster and more efficient. No need to wait in the office until your taxes are completed. Simply upload your documents via the Taxes to Go app or via their client portal, and they'll take care of the rest. Remington Tax Solutions is a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals and participates in the IRS Annual Filing Season Program, which is a voluntary tax education program to stay abreast of the ongoing changes in tax legislation. Remington Tax Solutions has a strong connection to the communities in which they serve. It is a part of their mission to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors. So, if you're looking for a reliable, effective, and trustworthy tax preparation service, Remington Tax Solutions is the business for you. Contact Remington Tax Services at their number 682-307-4410 or simply go to remingtontax.com. That's remingtontax.com. Remington Tax Service, virtual tax preparation for the individual and small business.
Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home-delivered, restaurant-quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50-plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specializing in affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from HomeBistro.com? Restaurant quality, made with natural ingredients, delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat. Doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with HomeBistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with HomeBistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Live clean, eat cleaner. The only natural and patented produce wash. Eat Cleaner is a tasteless, odorless, and lab-tested line of food wash and wipes that is up to 99.9% more effective than water in cleaning wax. The only natural, patented produce wash in a 14-day study, applying Eat Cleaner all-natural fruit vegetable wash to a variety of fruit and 100 pure guaranteed vegetables. Also prolongs shelf life up to 5 times longer through a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. This can help save your family on average of over $500 per year, reducing waste and making it easy to get your half plate of fruit and vegetables each day. Eat Cleaner offers a wide variety of solutions for food safety and shelf life extension for consumers, retailers, food service, and operators. USDA bio-based, OMRI listed for use on organic produce, non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, made in the USA, lab-proven, and patented. So if you want cleaner fruits and veggies, try Eat Cleaner. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. All right, we're on the second side of this thing, man. We're gonna finish up with Stan Van Gundy. Stan the man Van Gundy, introduced as the Pelicans head coach. Still taking a lot of questions, a lot of good answers by Stan Van Gundy. Put in the chat, you guys feeling Stan Van Gundy, what he's saying after we finish spending the rest of this. We got about 12 to 13 minutes left on the interview. Then we'll go over some analysis. Let me know and let the show know what you guys are feeling so far about the answers that Stan Van Gundy's giving. Are you guys appeased with that? Are you liking it? Are you digging it? Are you feeling it? Are you like what he's saying? You put it in the chat. Let me know, and I'll go over it. Any questions or concerns, put that in the chat as well. Please hit the like button. Big ups to all the family members and the Pelican faithful in the chat. Chime in, share the links, hit the like button. All right, here's Stan Van Gundy to finish up on the press conference.
Coach, this is Ollie Cosell with the Bird Rights. First of all, I want to welcome you as well to New Orleans. And as for my question, upon retirement, Dwayne Wade said this: people talk about culture, and it's a cliche that they throw around, but very few places is there a real culture. Obviously, building a culture is a process, but what have you learned from your previous coaching stops that led to desired environments, and how do you think that this group of Pelicans can achieve something similar?
That's a great question, and I think this is one of the
that was a good question.
One of the areas that Griff and I and the entire front office sort of connected on, because culture, what it really is it's a body of shared values of how you want to work and how you want to do things, and I think that we're very aligned on that. The two real beliefs I have on culture are it has very little to do with what you say, and it has everything to do with what you do on an everyday basis. I've said to people in the past, I started my NBA career working under Pat Riley in Miami, and now they talk about heat culture all the time. But when I was there, and I was there for over 10 years, I never remember Pat even using that word culture. I never remember him talking about culture, and yet every guy on our roster could have told you exactly what the culture was of the Miami Heat. So you build your culture day by day, interaction by interaction, practice by practice, step by step. And over time, people will see what our organization is all about, what our leaders are all about in the organization, and then down to the players. and then the players who are around us for a while pass it on to the other players. That's how you build a culture. There's no overnight to that. It's not, you can only accelerate that process so much. It takes time. It takes, day after day stuff. And then the second thing that I believe about culture is as much as Griff and Trajan and Swin and Bryson and even above us to Mrs. Benson and to Dennis Lauscha, to myself and my coaching staff, as much as any of us try to set the example on a culture for our basketball team, what our culture actually ends up becoming will be what our best players decide that it's going to be. And so those are the guys that have to take the responsibility for creating the kind of culture that we all want here with the Pelicans.
Ed Daniels, go ahead.
Unmute, Ed.
Yep. Hey, Stan, Ed Daniels, WGNO New Orleans, the ABC station here. A lot of coaches talk about defense, and I know it's something that you've preached your entire career. But frankly, how do you get guys who are making millions of dollars to commit to that kind of effort on the defensive end?
Yeah, thanks.
Daniel's coming with that old school
I think the money's
question.
irrelevant on that point. That's part of the business that these guys go through, negotiating contracts. My experience in the NBA is when guys step on the court, none of that matters. They want to play basketball. They want to compete. They wouldn't be where they are in this game if they weren't competitors. And they want to win. Guys want to win. And you're not going to do that if you don't get the job done at the defensive end. And ultimately, none of the players are going to get the respect that they want in this game unless they're part of a consistent winner in the NBA. So, again, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with accountability. It's not me standing there with a hammer and hitting them over the head. It's being clear on what their goals are individually and as a team and trying to help them understand what will get them there. And what gets them there is being part of a great team, and a big part of being part of a great team is what you do at the defensive end. And when guys understand that, they will put in the effort and the focus that it takes to be a good defensive team.
Hey, Stan, Andrew Doak from CBS in New Orleans. To ask the Redick question or angle a little bit different way, how much do you feel like with a veteran like him and someone who holds you in such high regard, he can help with the rest of the team collectively buying in and saying, I've played for this guy. This is someone that has had maybe the greatest impact of any coach in my career. Is that something that crosses your mind that you feel like can help a new coach coming in to be able to adjust pretty quickly and have that buy-in be bought?
Well, I think absolutely. Anybody that knows you and can sort of, let people know what to expect. And by the way, it's not going to all be good because JJ's an honest guy. So, I think most of it will be good, but some of it won't be to guys, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, but yes, I do think it is helpful anytime people can, firsthand tell guys like, this helps me. And yeah, it's tough at times, but it'll pay off in the end. I certainly think that's helpful.
Coach, this is Fletcher again from NBC in New Orleans. I had one question for you, and I was hoping to follow it up with a quick question for David Griffin. So I'll start with your question. The building that you play in, the Smoothie King Center, is a voting center right now, and the lines are hundreds of people deep every day. You are obviously someone who is outspoken right now about voting and what's happening with social issues and politically in our country. Do you think that has resonated with the players, and is it something that you plan on continuing even after the election?
There's no question. First of all, with the arena being used as an early voting site, I think that is tremendous by the Pelicans organization, by, Mrs. Benson to get that done, because obviously in this pandemic, we need places where we can vote and yet still socially distance and stay safe. So the arenas make a lot of sense. And I think NBA governors like Mrs. Benson stepping forward, I think has been very, very helpful. And I think for all of us, look, one of the things that I really liked when you start, you go through an interview process, and as much as Griff and Trajan are doing research on me, I'm doing research on them in the organization. And one of the most impressive things to me was, Mrs. Benson being on the board of the NBA Foundation, 8 people, with the money the owners are throwing in, $30 million a year, specifically to empower Black communities economically. So clearly there's a commitment on her part to do things. And that's somebody that you can be proud to work for. We represent, at least in my situation, right? We're out there every day working with people who are predominantly Black people, and you hear their stories over a long period of time. And when you hear those stories and you know what the issues are, and you have a chance to speak out and help them, you want to do that. And you want to do it. Dennis Lauscha made a great comment to me when we were when I came in to interview, that you want to do that, and you want to do it as constructively as possible so that you're bringing more people in instead of turning people off. I thought it was a great comment, and I've tried to keep that in mind in these last 2 weeks since I left, because I hadn't always done a great job of that before, and I think that really is important.
And I thank you, Will McLaren, for letting me follow up to Griff here. Griff, I just wanted to ask you, I started off by asking Coach what made him feel like this organization was for him. Was there a moment when you looked at Trajan or Swin and said, this is it, we can kind of push the others to the side? Was there kind of that light bulb moment, so to say, for you when you knew Stan was your guy?
Yeah, I think Trajan's light bulb moment may have been different than mine. I think Trajan was really committed to it very early on in the process.
Oh, really?
I think the light bulb moment for me was getting to spend time with Stan and his wife Kim together, and really understanding, and he talked about this in terms of culture being about a body of shared values. I very much see my wife Meredith and I in their relationship, and I think Stan has walked the walk in his life on and off the court, and that really mattered to me. It mattered mightily to all of us, but in my particular situation, having also taken a couple years off and had the time to sort of understand exactly what I had been doing wrong, as a family, they were committed to doing this right, and they wanted to do it with us. And when I felt that moment where we were all together on the same page, for me, that was definitely that moment of clarity that made everything mean something to me in a different way.
Andrew Lopez here again from ESPN. I guess this is for Stan, Griff, and Trajan. What are the major, issues of trying to rush in now to this season if we do have a late December start date? How crazy does that make your lives for the next 8 weeks, I guess?
I'm going to let those guys go first on that one.
That's a great question. I think we're all trying to wrap our minds around that right now. We're talking about it internally every day. I think it's logistically, it's time management. You talk about it when you're in high school, you only have so many hours in a day to do your homework and to play sports and to do whatever you do with your friends. Well, right now, we only have so much time to really prepare for this draft. We have to staff. We've got to put together a coaching staff. We've got to prepare for free agency. There's a lot of stuff we got to do to get our our practice facility ready in terms of hygiene standpoint. We're going to have a lot of things that the league is going to ask us to do in terms of preparing the practice facility, not only to get our draft picks in, but to get our free agents in and to get ready for a camp. So I think there's got a lot of things that are going to be asked of us to do that we don't even know yet. So just trying to prepare and control the things that we can right now and not get ahead of ourselves. But that'll be a challenge right now with only so many days out from the start of the season, and even less until camp starts.
Yeah, I would echo that, and I would also say that the idea of starting free agency at about the same time camp starts is really daunting. To think about bringing people into training camp sort of on the fly as you add to your roster, I can't even really conceive of what that looks like. And frankly, from a coaching perspective, I can only imagine somebody that's the kind of prepared that Coach Van Gundy is. I can't imagine what it would do to their staff to not know on a day-to-day basis how many bodies you would have and who those bodies would be. So it sets up to be a very daunting start of the season for everyone.
Yeah, look, when I read the other day that we might even go a month earlier than expected, I was like, wow. I mean, of course, coming into a new situation, you'd like to have more time, but I think back, I've worked for some great coaches in my time coming up, and a guy I had great respect for. I worked for a guy named Nick McCarchuk at Canisius and at Fordham. And he would say to our players all the time, and I've thought about this statement every day since I've taken this job, so for 6 straight days, and this is what I think it comes down to. We're going to be ready to compete anytime, anywhere, under any conditions. And I think in some ways this is a great way to get this message across, like to your players. When do you have to be ready to start camp? Well, whenever they tell us. So that means get ready now. And it carries over into the season. We got a back-to-back, second night, no excuse. Anytime, anywhere, under any conditions, we're going to be ready to compete. That may be a little quicker than I'm comfortable with, but that's the way it is, and we will be ready.
All right, family, that's the summation. And that's how the interview ends. Ultimately, with the Stan Van Gundy telling you, listen, we're going to be ready. And that was, we played the entire summation of it. Real insightful. A lot of good information there. And actually, credit to the reporters. Maybe we take some of the NBA reporters for the Pelicans and move them over to the Saints side, because these were some really good questions that they asked Stan Van Gundy and the staff about this SVG move. I gotta keep it out. I know for certain.
Sean Payton ain't gonna have that shit, man.
I'll just keep it real with you, man. I think that it was a lot of information there. But DC, I'm gonna start with you, man. Unpack that. What do you think about Stan the Man Van Gundy's comments on everything he's saying? The man, from the defense and how to fix it on down to his schematic, everything, man. What do you think about it?
I'm not gonna lie, Q. I listened to this interview before the show, and man, I couldn't find no flaws in what he was saying, bro. Like, I was really looking. He's saying everything right that I would want to hear. Like, he talks about winning a lot. Obviously building a culture, which is a collection of what did he call it? A collection of activities, or I guess mind states. I don't remember the exact word he used. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I know he's hardworking and he's gonna have longer practices. He spoke a lot on effort, and it's like the more he talks, the more I'm like, okay, is this dude just like real good at knowing what was wrong with the Pelicans and saying all the right shit, or he really gonna do all that? Because what they really need is accountability. They stress that. Like, I liked when he said, I don't want them to be able to have excuses, using youth as an excuse. Oh, I turned the ball over because we're young. It's like, damn, is this like the complete opposite, the yin or the yang to Alvin Gentry? It's the complete total polar opposite. It's like everything we were saying Alvin Gentry should do, other than the rotations. I ain't hear him speak on that, so maybe that's where he got room to mess up at. His rotations could be horrible, but every other thing I heard, man, from about developing guys. I mean, he spoke on Zion and him being positionless, and them not really putting any limitation on what he can do. He spoke on Brandon Ingram actually playing a point guard role, which I've been thought they should have implemented. He also spoke on Lonzo Ball and gave him great praise, and seems like he has a vision for him. A lot of people talked about Stan Van Gundy basically wanting him to be a stand-up shooter, and I didn't really hear that. I heard him want Lonzo Ball to run, point in transition and free flowing, and when they get in half-court sets, it sounds like Brandon Ingram or maybe Zion, the offense is going to run through him, and they're going to run Lonzo Ball. I hope he don't try to turn him into J.J. Redick, but he kept trying to use comparisons between him and J.J. Redick, which would be not a standstill shooter, but, a guy that's motioning and a lot of movement and can get an open shot, which I think Lonzo Ball could possibly do that. I don't know if that's the best way to maximize him, but he even talked about defense, man, or how, if you're getting broke down on the perimeter, you're putting a lot of stress on your big man. I was like, man, this guy should have called Alvin Gentry last year, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's saying all the right things, man. I really can't nitpick anything. If anything, I heard, and you heard it too, and you commented on it, David Griffin was like, oh, my light bulb moment went off. I think it was a little different than when Trajan's light bulb moment. Trajan wanted Will Weaver, man. So
that's right,
man. We might as well be a fly on the wall up in there. Q. We hitting it out of the park with that one. That comment told me everything I wanted to know.
Bro, I tell you, man, it ain't hard. Like old Nas used to say back in the day, old 90s rapper, it ain't hard to tell, man. Reading the tea leaves, man, is pretty easy. When you know people and you have a feel for people, then you can kind of pick up their mannerisms and what type of person that they are and what their moves are. And we're pretty good at reading the tea leaves when they come down to the Saints and the Pelicans and a few other things. But I agree with you. I do like Stan Van Gundy's press conference. He answered a lot of questions that a lot of people have. Very thorough press conference. Very good questions that were asked. I was very, very pleasantly pleased with the reporter's questions because that's something, what is Stan going to do? And we won't, and I've said it, and we've said it for years, about the Pelicans cleaning up their situation on the defensive end. He spoke about transition defense. He spoke about not allowing, poor defense where they get easy layups and stuff like that. And he talked about that. And Stan, I think he does have the acumen and the teaching ability to fix the woes that we suffered last year that hurt us so badly. Well, we was just we were a half a team. I think he brings in that discipline, that hard-nosed approach. And even though, and just like one of the family members said in the Pell chat, Arnold, big ups to you, Arnold Landry says, if Stan keeps his emotions in check, it will help the Pelicans. And that's a major part of it. Stan, the man, keeping his emotions in check, being patient and working with the team. And I think they'll believe in him. He got a track record of success, man. And that's something that young players are, doing it. And then Stan is a guy, he's an instructor. He'll teach them the right way to how to do stuff. And then, of course, won't let the team break down without lifting them up in crucial situations and instructing them, as opposed to sitting on the bench with your eyes red and accordingly getting up and walking back and forth and occasionally fussing at the referees for a call that happened several plays later and we're on a whole nother situation. So he did a good job also of not slam dancing the last guy that was here, whose name I will not use. But he didn't, discard him. He big upped him, and he's moving into, this is a very talented team, man. And this is pretty much what we're doing. Now, outside of that, the thing that answered it for me was Griffin. That I said it before. I said, listen, this is Griffin's hire. And it is definitely Griffin's hire. because the guys are right. I mean, he's in Griffin's age range, experience range. This is a David Griffin call all day. Tranges Langdon was asked 2 questions on the damn press conference. He's sitting way in the back, and he talked about we don't have that much time. At Tranges Langdon, you have all the time in the world, buddy, because it seems you ain't have to do a damn thing. You asked 2 questions in this press conference. The guy picked the coach for you. Hopefully, you get your coach in the next 4 years, which is probably will be hopefully Will Weaver, who reports are saying he's looking at the Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City is looking at him as a potential coach.
Oklahoma, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, OKC is looking
it's
at him.
It's the same area. I get you, brother.
But that's the reality at the end of the day. But it's real. I liked it. Big ups to Who That Chubbs 504 in the Pell chat. Brian Pearson, Greg CTC, and all the family members chiming in. Please hit the like button and share the link in your social media. Brian says, I want to see Coach come in here and coach this team to the best of his ability, make it to the playoffs, try to win a championship, try to win the division, try to work with this team. That was well said, Brian, and I think we all feel that same way, DC. What do you think about Brian's comment there?
Man, Brian hit it on the nose, man. We was talking about it, and I feel like a what you call them things? I feel like a sandal or something, man. One of them little flip-flop sandals, bro, because I keep going back and forth on this trade thing and what we think if they're going to trade Drew Holiday, if they're not going to trade Drew Holiday. But judging on what Stan Van Gundy's talking about and what he's implementing and what he wants to do, I think we leave the team the same because look at it, bro. And it's all centered around Zion when you look at it. Brandon Ingram, extremely hard worker, right? Lonzo Ball never really had an off season before. And I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I've been watching Lonzo. Lonzo has been working on all aspects of his game. You believe me. That dude been working, bro, since the off season. So for him to make another leap or be the most improved player of the year, ain't that far off. Like I watched one video, he had like 25 shots in a row. You know what I'm saying? Dude been working. You look at Drew Holiday. We all know Drew Holiday is an extremely hard worker, right? Probably the hardest worker on the Pelicans team. Drew Holiday probably working out right now, to be honest with y'all.
Yep.
JJ Redick, another extremely hard worker.
Yep.
And you heard Van Gundy speak on that. And what do we have after that? Well, you have the growing nucleus, which will be of Zion Williamson, Jackson Hayes, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and at some point, Didi Lazada, and we throw Josh Hart in there too. I don't know about his work ethic in the offseason, but Josh Hart gonna come to play, so I really don't care.
Always.
But the whole point is Zion needs to get that hard work mentality if he's gonna live to his full potential. So you got a coach who's gonna breathe that, because a lot of people compare Van Gundy to Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau was known for running his teams in the ground, so to speak. Van Gundy used to have these 3-hour shoot-arounds before the game and 3-4 hour long practices, you know. So I'm imagining he's not going to go that long now because the league done changed a lot. But the whole aspect I'm saying is you got hard work. Lunch pail kids, man, like the name we tried to give the Saints D-line at one point in time. You know, this is what they're going to embody, and you have everything in place already to do that. And even if you bring Derek Favors back, he fits that same mold as well. So you have an identity already built in place. I mean, we was an offensive team last year, but when you look at these players, other than Brandon Ingram, really don't know a lot about him defensively, even though I know he was a decent defender with the Lakers on ball. And we probably asked him to do a lot of stuff out of position, guarding power forwards, and Brandon Ingram, man, but about $190. That's crazy. Alvin Gentry, thank you for that. But you know, looking at the identity, it's already in place, man. There's no need to trade, like if that's what you want to do. Now, who we draft, I don't know, man. That's tough. I say a 3-and-D wing, but everything is in place already, unless we want to switch out the center position and maybe find a guy that plays even more hard-nosed defense, since you still got Nicolo Millie and you got Jackson Hayes, and you put another defensive guy with Zion Williamson and have him run the 5 sometimes too. So the team is pretty much set, man. This assistant group, I think, is going to be I guess similar to what we was looking at as the trade thing, because I think they about to shake some stuff up. Possibly maybe get our boy Will Weaver in there.
Yeah, I think that's a major part of it. You can't tell me that that you don't make a play and get Stan the Man Van Gundy and not look to add an assistant coach like Will Weaver. One of the family members, Greg CTC, says we have to keep Fred Vinson. I'm for that.
Hell yeah.
I really do hope the Pelicans do reach back and keep, and grab one of those guys. At least keep one or two. Maybe two is a bit the X for, but at least one coach that has a connection to the team, so it don't you have a total bunch of new coaches. So a lot of people like Chris Fitch. He was looking at the job with Indiana. He didn't get it. They went with someone else. So a lot of people like Fitch. A lot of people like Fred Vinson. I wouldn't be mad if SVJ was, said, listen, I can add these guys and staff. I wouldn't be upset about that, even though I know he has his own guys in mind. But Fred Vinson is a guy that, you should consider keeping, in my opinion. DC, what do you think about that?
Hell yeah, man. What you mean when I think about that? You smoking dope? You gotta keep Fred Vinson, bro. Fred Vinson helped Lonzo Ball change his shot,
dope.
man. Smoking dope. Helped Lonzo Ball change his shot, bro. Brandon Ingram shot percentage went up almost 8%. You know what I'm saying? Drew Holiday even improved his shot percentage. JJ Redick doing what he do, maybe he had a little bit to do with it too. But when you look at just the improvement of those two guys from the Lakers and you seen what they did, and those guys, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but after practices, Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram was going to have their own shoot-arounds with Fred Vinson for like 2 or 3 hours after practice. So he obviously impacted them major. You know what I'm saying? That's a testament to the players. Yeah, but it's also a testament to that coach and teaching them that, man. And all the guys seem to like him, bro. When I see Fred Vinson around, they talking to him, it's all positive vibes and good energy, man. They respect that guy. So if anybody on our coaching staff, in my opinion, that we have to keep, it would be him. Because he has, I guess, the personality aspect of the team. Like they like that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and he gets his job. He gets the job done. Jackson Hayes' stroke, I even seen improving. I'm sure he's probably working with him too. So I don't know what happened with Kenny Hustle though. I don't seem like he could do nothing with that. But we got a lot of young guys coming up. And we're going to need a guy like that to keep them shots improving, bro, especially if we want to find another big to spread the floor at some point or create one. Maybe Jackson Hayes turns into that guy. Who knows?
Yeah,
he don't without Fred Vinson, though.
Yeah, that's interesting because they most certainly have to address that position, whether it's in the draft or free agency. Supreme Josh drew Andre Drummond in there, although I don't think so. That's pretty pricey. For what they're going to do. And it is interesting because Van Gundy and Drummond worked together in Detroit.
That could be a possibility, though, Q. I mean, Drummond had a big contract where he was getting paid. He a free agent now.
Yeah.
And I could see him.
We don't have the most money, but could you see him fitting him in there?
$18 million? If we give him $18 million, that'll be him
so
coming
$2 million
down
more than Favors?
Right. No, that's about what Favors was making last year.
I don't know if he plays for that, DC. You never know, though.
I mean, that would be him coming down from about, what, 25 or 27? What was he making?
I know he was making north of 20. I can look it up while you break it down. Go ahead.
Right. But the success he had under Van Gundy.
True.
And his numbers have never been like that again. So,
Van Gundy knew how to use them.
Right. Do you realistically see anybody paying him 20, 27, 28 million for Andre Drummond?
I don't think so, but Cleveland's stupid. They do a lot of crazy stuff up there.
Well, Cleveland might not have a choice, but anybody that's sane wouldn't want to play for Cleveland. So it's like Kevin Love been trying to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? They gave him that money. He thought LeBron was gonna stay. I know that was the worst mistake of his life. So does Andre Drummond sign with Cleveland? I mean, I guess it depends on the guy, man. What does he want? If he wants to win and he wants to be happy and all that, maybe he does come to the Pelicans, man, and you start something new where you don't have the whole stack the team era or go and join the superstar already somebody's got to change the narrative, and I think these younger kids are looking to do it different. So maybe he's built from that mold or that ilk, and they kind of taking it back to the old school thing with a coach like Van Gundy. So you never know, bro.
Yeah, I do know that Van Gundy's talented enough to do it. And by the way, Drummond's his contract is $28.7 with Cleveland.
Yeah, damn, I'm asking the man to take a $10 million pickup. That's a lot.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, if he's motivated to win, you never know what he can do. But all things open, it's a crazy season, man. So you never know. But anyway, let's keep going. Who that Chubb says, I feel good about Stan. Excited to see this team play defense. LOL. Thank you. Who that Chubbs 504. Thank you for that, family. Kevin says, yeah, Q, I see some good things. I like the mental approach. Iceman. What's up, Iceman, in the building? He says, LOL, yeah, I like him. I think he will do good, and he'll do good in New Orleans. He says, keep Hill out of the Whole Foods, please.
Keep who out of Whole Foods?
He said Hill keep Hill out of the Whole Foods. That's DC's joint, man. He loved Whole Foods.
Man, stop that, man.
I think he got stock in them.
You telling people the lies, man.
He loved their rotisserie chicken. All right.
I went over there and brought some stuff a few times. And I got stock at Whole Foods. Oh, you a trip, boy. I think you a trip, y'all. If y'all only knew.
All right. Let's keep it going. All right, big ups to the rest of the family members in the chat. Big ups to you. All right, let's see if we got any more statements here. GM Kev says, Will Weaver will fit good in OKC. Let's see. Brian says, do you think Chris Paul ever comes back to the New Orleans Pelicans? I don't think so. I definitely would say no.
Under one circumstance.
And what's that? They give him $20 million a year?
If we win a damn championship, that'd be the only way Chris Paul has to come back.
I mean, the Lakers are really being proactive at going at Chris Paul, and the Clippers. It's going to be a California team, DC. I mean, that's either it's the word as the rumors are. It's a big market team. It's either one of the two LA clubs, and then you could throw the Knicks in there because they're talking about the Knicks giving Chris Paul an exorbitant, actually giving them the finances out. But your boy LeBron pushing hard for Chris Paul to join him in LA. And of course, and then on top of that,
I don't see
the
how
Clippers
they do it unless they give up Kyle Kuzma.
Well, the Clippers are also want to make a play to bring him back to join Paul George and Leonard, with the Clippers. So that's another reason why I'm saying that the Pelicans are not an attractive destination. Chris Paul wants a championship, man. And then LeBron feeling himself right now after the championship here, and he can pretty much remote control Anthony Davis to bring him back to the team. So you got Chris Paul, Anthony Davis. I'm just telling you.
Wait. You said the man gonna remote control?
That's right. You heard me. I ain't stutter. That's right. He gonna remote.
LeBron got a steering wheel in his back, bro.
Nah, he got a remote control, man. Like the That's why people love the Pelican Post Game Report. We keep it real, baby. We keep it real.
That's all, folks.
Supreme Josh says get rid of Favors and Nico Melli. Damn, Josh. How you get rid?
What's wrong with Josh? You can't get rid of both of them, bro.
Nico Melli could work, bro. I just think Elvin Gentry was using them wrong. Derek Favors had a really difficult year, and I understand. And listen, I know a lot of people don't like Derek Favors and how he played last year, but just remember, we kept saying this. Derek Favors was dealing with what was it? DC, his mother passed away.
Mother died. He had
several injuries. Yep.
Muscles in his back messed up. He had a lot going on, man.
And he was never healthy.
About a month after his mama died, he obviously was real close to his mama, so and then you had the COVID thing going on. I mean, it had a lot of stuff, that was against his favor. And I thought he looked good at certain points of the year, but going into the bubble, I think it was setting on everybody's mind. He looked atrocious in the bubble, but so did the rest of the team. So
damn right, led by Lonzo Ball, and people.
Drew Holiday ain't look too hot either.
No, it wasn't.
All Brandon Ingram, our whole team. Brandon Ingram looked all right. He wasn't playing at the level he was playing.
No, he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing well. DC he was Brandon Ingram. You had Alonzo Fall and Drew Holiday. None of those guys was playing right, and and it was just bad, man. It was just bad. But you gotta look at it. Elvin Gentry, man, you got to be able to motivate these guys, man. And remember, we documented this, DC. We talked about when J.J. Redick, and you heard what Stan Van Gundy said about J.J. Redick, whom, by the way, has a connection with SVG. So he don't have to. That's a really good relationship to have that he can pull on. Right, he could pull on JJ, who's respected in the locker room, and JJ is familiar with what Stan wants to do. He can be that general, so to speak, on the field, on the court, that can help the Pelicans kind of get what Coach Van Gundy is trying to push to him. And also, not to mention the fact that if you looked at, what Stan Van Gundy also is, the guy's a winner. Elvin Gentry was not a winner. We talked about this. We kept mentioning the fact that he hadn't done anything. He won a championship as an assistant coach on another man's team. As a head coach, Elvin Gentry was a loser in terms of his record as a head coach. He was 70-something wins below his actual. He was 70-something losses below. Below his wins. Wins below his losses. And he hadn't done anything respectable. He could not command the defense. He could not inspire the team. Even with the break that they had, he could not inspire them to victory. And ultimately, J.J. Redick, who keeps it real, was in press conference saying, I don't know what I don't know what he's talking about. Drew Holiday was saying that as well.
Come on, guys.
Drew Holiday said he wants us to run up, and I guess we're a track star team now. They would make smart comments. Remember, we played those comments on the show and said, did y'all pick that up?
Yeah, I remember that, man.
We played those. But J.J. Redick did the same thing.
That wasn't sly at all. J.J. Redick said, I don't know what the hell I was just talking
about.
He straight said it just like that.
Just like that. He didn't pull no punches.
Like J.J. got some nuts, man.
And Drew Holiday was slick side and hitting them and sleek dissing them as well. And then if you span back, you look at what Anthony Davis was doing. Like when they brought the last year AD was here, they brought Julius. There you go. When they brought Julius Randle in here, Anthony Davis at the press conference. We played the press conference and the interview with Anthony Davis on there saying that I guess when they brought Julius Randle, they brought Julius in here. I guess I'm playing center now, and that's not a good look for him. You hear that said. That's something Elvin Gentry was supposed to have a conversation with him about playing the center position. And we had insiders from Times-Picayune, which was Jared Kushner, Kushner to come on the show, and he was like, I don't think Anthony Davis has a problem with that, Big Q. And I said, listen, he doesn't like to play the 5 position. He'll play it in spurts, but you have him starting at the 5 for the summation of the entire season. And he doesn't like, he getting beat up by Rudy Gobert. You get your ass out there and get beat up by Rudy Gobert and Steven Adams and all these brutes. I mean, AD is pretty much a stretch 5, a stretch 4, but he can play the 5 in the pinch like he did in the finals against smaller people like Bam Adebayo. But you're talking about putting him up against real world centers like Gobert and Adams? Hell no. That's not where he wants to be. So, but anyway, Elvin Gentry, remember the year, and then I'm going to leave Gentry alone, but remember the entire year, he had the smallest small forward in the history of the league playing for the entire year. He had E'Twaun Moore, who's 6'3", 6'4", playing at the small forward position for the entire year. Y'all remember that, DC? Anyway, we're going to leave him alone, bro. We're going to leave him alone.
Is what you call, like, he's just shooter, like a 3. Just imagine this, people. Think about this. E'Twaun Moore is your shooter. Like, he's somebody you come in off the bench to hit 3-pointers. That was his game. That's like saying for the Brooklyn Nets to have Joe Harris like play small forward or power forward. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like having what we was doing was like having J.R. Smith play power forward when he was in Cleveland. You're just retarded, dude.
Oh,
we got E'Twaun Moore, who's supposed to be a shooting guard, 3-point threat coming in. And he was putting him in like
that dude was
raving about his defense.
DC, that man.
He guard Kawhi Leonard like when Kawhi was in still with the Spurs. Then we had E'Twaun Moore guard to Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard. We had E'Twaun Moore guarding LeBron James. What you talking about? That man was crazy, man. Anyway, let's jump. We got a few more comments to talk about. That's funny, though. We're going to miss Elvin Gentry on that front, man. That was some funny times. Sad when we was going through it, but funny because you got, like Kevin said, you got to laugh at it, man. But anyway, let's go to the next one here. Brian says, why don't we get some D-League players? We can give them cheap money. If they could play for a little bit of time, then we can get more money. And also DJ, big ups to DJ, says, what about Cheatham, Chatham and Josh Gray? Big ups to you, Till, in the chat as well. What do you think about that, DC? D-League players, Cheatham and Josh Gray, how about those guys?
I think those guys still need to develop. I actually like some of what I saw from Josh Gray. He seems to have composure, and he handled the ball well. He wouldn't make a lot of mistakes. With stuff you're supposed to make or supposed to do, he did. So I commend him for that. I like to keep him around. And Cheatham was a very hard worker, guy with a motor. But at the same time, we got a lot of talent, man. We got a lot of talent on this team. And I don't think those guys get a lot of minutes. I don't think they've moved to that, upper echelon of some of those guys in front of them. Depending on what we do in free agency, may determine if they get some more minutes or not. But Cheatham is a little undersized, but he got heart, and he gonna go out there and give you his all. So I like him. I like keeping him around, but I don't know if we're gonna still have the spots for him. And with Stan Van Gundy coming, I think we're gonna want to get bigger. Stan Van Gundy teams usually have a lot of length, and we're a very small team right now. But we have some very good guys that are small. We got some good guards on our team. Frank Jackson, if we don't get him, somebody's gonna pick him up, and Frank Jackson is gonna be a good piece for a team. We got Alexander Walker, who isn't exactly small, but another good guard. You already know Lonzo Ball. You got Drew. You got JJ Redick. You got Josh Hart. Like, where does Gray get any minutes? And you could say the same thing with Zion, man. He got a long list of people in front of him with Zion. You got Brandon Ingram. We're going to draft a 3-and-D guy, or we're going to sign one in free agency. Then you got Nico Melli. We're obviously going to sign back Derek Favors or get another center. Like, where does he fit in that rotation? So they're good to have for depth. If we could keep them, I like to keep them. But I don't see them getting any impact minutes.
Yeah, that's another thing that has to be figured out. It's pretty easy to look at the starting five and say, yeah, we can do this, that, and the third. We got to work out the rotating five, the bench five, guys who really do. We need to see if we can find somebody that can operate the point guard position, off the bench. We need to find a few shooters as well. And guys that can play more defense and more length there. So, we'll see. The draft has interesting prospects. The free agency does as well. They got several guys that's interesting that'll be free agent, real solid veteran role players that we possibly can use to bring in here to play our multiple positions. I've heard chatter dealing with guys like Jay Crowder and people like that who are hustlers who can hit threes and guard several different positions. That's interesting as well. Let's move on to some more conversation before we get ready to end the show. Arnold Landry, big ups to the fam, said Pelicans should keep Ball and NAW. And he said trade Drew for a veteran forward. I don't know.
Why would we trade Drew for a veteran forward? Can you ask him that question? Well, I'm just curious to hear what he's thinking.
And put that in the chat, Arnold. Let us know why would you want to trade Drew. Put a short summary in there, my friend, and then also give me an idea who you would trade him for. Give us an idea of that. All right, let's move on. Once again, I say big ups to my dog Till chiming in. Big ups to Till. What up, fam?
What up, Till?
And then, of course, DJ says Cheatham is 6'6". We have more 6'6" guys, but not at depth. Okay, I hear you, DJ. Thank you for that. Kevin says, okay, he says he want to see what NAW can do. That's a first-round pick. That's big, too, because, man, could you imagine NAW with defensive principles from the shooting game under control, DC, got the size, ball handling, all that under control under Stan Van Gundy? There could possibly be no other younger of the first-round draft picks. We know what Zion going to do, but NAW could really prosper with the guys of Stan Van Gundy, his principles. What you think?
Man, NAW, that's all he's lacking is discipline and professionalism. He just needs time to get it together, man. And if you paid attention, a lot of times when he was put in, they put him in because of his defense. He already plays pretty good defense. So I definitely think he fits. And I'm going to just ask you this. If you take NAW and let's say we got Tyler Hero instead, and the Heat got NAW, you think they would have missed a beat?
I don't listen. all I know is I know what I see from NAW, and you're right, is that Elvin Gentry, the guy can score. He's talented, and I expect him to be everything that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is with OKC. Listen, and a lot of people thinking that when he arrives that he's going to be better than Shai Alexander. So
I don't know about that.
they listen. I'm just telling you what a
He's
lot.
gonna be up there though. He's gonna be up
I'm
there.
trying to tell you because it depends on his development. The guy knows how to score. He can handle the ball. He's a guy that can, if you can train him up right, get him strong, he can guard 3 positions if you need him to. I mean, you can depending on your imagination and how you tune to employ him in offense. He can be something special. He's an open piece of clay right there. And I'm just saying that with Stan Van Gundy, who definitely is a disciplinarian, definitely is a stickler on the defensive side of the ball, teaching them defensive principles. And he's also not just a one-sided coach. Just to say this, SVG, Stan Van Gundy is a balanced coach. He knows offense and defense, but he's known for his defensive acumen as well. He teaches the defensive principles, but he's overall as an instructor of the game. That's how I would say about Stan Van Gundy. If you went to a college or university, Stan is the guy in the woodworking room, or he's in the auto mechanic shop, getting his hands dirty, teaching you how to take that carburetor off of there, or taking that transmission off of there. Stan's gonna get his hands dirty and get down and instruct you that way. He's not a guy to sit back and just show. He's gonna get in there and show these guys, and that's what I can appreciate about Stan Van Gundy, DC.
You right about that, Big Q. They had a video as soon as we hired him floating around the internet. Stan Van Gundy doing the crossover, going behind the back. It's like, yeah, I want to see you guys do that. Be more creative with it. And that would die laughing. But you know the trick part about it. His crossover and his behind the back move was smooth.
Stan Fan used to play ball, man. Y'all slipping.
It was smooth. I'm like, it was funny, seeing him do it because a little bigger guy, a little chubby. He got the low cut sneakers on. You know what I'm saying? Well, he hit his crossover. He went behind the back, and it was uniform. I'm like, after I finished laughing, I was like, that actually was pretty smooth. Stan probably done got somebody with that move a couple of times.
Yeah, he an old pool shark. He walk in there, you think he can't do nothing. Next day he taking all your money.
Looking at him, you think you got him.
But anyway, that's absolutely true. DJ said I heard point guard for Drew Holiday and Jackson Hayes. He says trade what is that? Ruel.
He said a point guard for Drew Holiday and Jackson.
He says
gonna get rid of Jackson Hayes and Drew Holiday.
He says trade. What is that? Ruel.
Garachimura from Washington.
I don't know. He says trade Ruel. I don't know what that is. DC. For Tyler Hero, it's like a JJ Point 2. Oh, he talking about Tyler Hero from Miami. I don't think Miami gonna give him up.
They ain't giving up Tyler Hero after what he did in the finals. Man.
Arnold says Alexander NAW is a good backup there. GM Kev says trade Holiday to the Saints to play free safety.
I'm with that one. I'm with that, bro. Can't Drew do like a Deion Sanders and just do both?
Man, I don't know. He might. I don't know. Drew is a tough defender too.
We only need him like the Tampa Bay game. Kansas City. You know what I'm saying?
We already got Drew Holiday playing football.
Who?
He played tight end and star for the Saints.
Oh, damn, you're right.
Damn, we already got him on the team.
One of his brothers over here too.
That's right. We already got him on the team. He plays tight end for the Saints there, GM Kev. You forgot about that.
He caught a one-handed touchdown.
That's right. Yeah, that's him. See? All right, DJ says Paul G. He talking about trading for Paul G. He talking about for Paul out there in
I don't like giving up Drew Holiday for he talking about Paul George, man.
For Paul George, that's not gonna happen. Clippers are not interested in moving none of the big two.
Talent wise, that's an even fit, but I mean I think Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, that'll stall out Brandon, wouldn't it?
Paul George are they're very similar. Like the big guy probably could play 1 through 4. Paul George probably could play better defense than Brandon Ingram, but other than that, they kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Paul George thing, and I think the thing is too with the Stan Van Gundy hiring, What it does do is it creates more stability in terms of the Saints. The Saints. Thanks a lot, Kevin, for putting that on my mind. The Saints on my mind when we talk Pelicans. But anyway, the Pelicans, it gives them stability with Stan Van Gundy because Stan's telling them, listen, we don't have to do too much. We can win with the team that we have because we already have we have a short time frame here. We don't have much time to make a bunch of moves, and I'm pretty sure Griffin was like, listen, can you win with these guys? And minus 2 or 3 guys, you might have a change there. A few guys, he had his own staff that he wants to bring in. Probably keep one of the assistant coaches. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 2 of them that he ends up keeping as familiarity. We'll see.
Bezzadelli, you think, or Chris Finch?
I think Fitch. Now Bezzadelli, he does like Bezzadelli. And matter of fact, on podcast, remember we played that on the previous show when he was big up in Jeff Bezzadelli. So
how can I big up Jeff Bezzadelli when we seen our defense last
No.
year?
But Bezzadelli is not. We talking about Bezzadelli as a whole, as a coach, as a respected coach throughout the season, of his career in the NBA. That's what he's talking about. He does like Jeff Bezzadelli. Now, whether or not he wants to keep him on the staff, that's a whole nother thing. I like Fitch. I think Fitch will work well because he works with anybody. And I also like Fred Venture. So Vincent and Fitch, I would be an advocate of keeping those guys with the staff. But that's all on Stan Van. Stan Van wants his own guys in there. And I'm pretty sure he acquiesced to a deal to have, if Will Weaver's going to be there, it'd probably be Will Weaver. We seen the report we covered on the previous show by Yumi Udoka. That's another guy that's there as well. So that's interesting, man. That's interesting. We'll just have to wait how that plays out. And by the way, old Stan Van played it real smooth, DC. When they asked him about the assistant coaches and the staff, we have nothing to report on that right now. But we keeping our eyes open.
Then he turned around to crack a joke that might not be so much of a joke, saying, we might have to start training camp on Monday, so we might have to have a coach by this weekend. But they very well could be signing somebody, maybe not this weekend, but next week, you know what I'm saying? For sure. Because you want to have your assistants or your nucleus in place before you make this draft pick. So I don't think it's going to be that long before we start seeing assistants get picked, especially the top assistant is probably going to be the first domino to fall, I would think. So unless they decide to give that power to Chris Finch and keep him around. I mean, this guy was getting interviewed for head coaching jobs around the league. I mean, that wouldn't be bad to keep. And he was the person for a lot of the offensive duties, especially with the post game and how they had that going. That was Finch. So I think he deserves to stay on the team. Plus, if we can see Stan Van Gundy do what he does, especially on the defensive end, tune up the offense, but at the same time, the transition offense that we had, because we can't act like our transition offense wasn't amazing. So if we can keep certain elements of our transition offense and go into Stan Van Gundy, whatever he wants to do in the half-court set, Will Weaver, he's pretty good in the half-court set too. If he comes along board, man, I mean, you're looking at something that could be pretty dangerous, bro, pretty dynamic. They're definitely going to be fun. And now that they're playing defense, I mean, we should be able to win games.
Listen, man, we was last year when we pulled out the playoff sheet and we were looking at it before the season was started. We were talking about early on much about the Pelicans being in the playoffs and OKC sitting out. Well, what was the difference? Obviously, coaching. Because when you had good coaching, OKC was able to maximize their team in ways where they were able to get into a really competitive series in the playoffs. And that's where you want your Pelican team in there. Staying healthy, being disciplined, and I keep saying the same thing. This team is gifted offensively. They can score the ball. They really can. Right. The issue with the Pelicans, as I've been saying for the last several seasons, was on the defensive end, allowing walk-up layups and all this nonsense. The scheme was absolutely crazy. And another final
to the game too. Oh my God, bro! She almost have a heart attack. It's like watching the damn Saints secondary.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. And Elvin Gentry sitting there fussing at the referee. But anyway, this the funny thing about it too as well. I remember going back, and you go back in my mental matrix, and I remember when the Pelicans under Dale Demps hired Elvin Gentry the last time. If you remember how it played out, Gentry got the job, according to Dale Demps, because he came in with charts and graphs to show.
Not this shit again. No, Big Q, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. It's a difference because
I told you that was souvenirs that man got to take from the Warriors coaching gig, charts that they used throughout the year. He brought that shit on down to New Orleans. That was stuff the Warriors was throwing away, bro.
Well, only thing I can say is this is what. Remember, we covered it. We talked about. That's what I was saying about when Gentry took over the reins. He got the job. Now they had interviewed Van Gundy, Stan's brother, for the job, and ultimately gave it to Elvin Gentry. And Dale Dempsey said he was so prepared. He had all the charts and graphs and all this kind of stuff. And see, the crazy part is, I was like, I don't know if I should believe him, being that he was gonna work for cheap. So DC, quickly, the music is playing. You want to say something to that?
So Elvin Gentry and prepared do not go together. I think he had a nice bag of Crown Royal Black that he gave Dale all right there.
All right, what else? That'll do it for the Pelican Post-Game Report, family. Thank y'all for joining us on this episode of the Pelican Post-Game Report. Special episode on a Tuesday as we covered the Pelicans' introduction press conference of Stan the Man Van Gundy. So we're going to see you guys later. Please hit the like button. Please share the show. And we'll be back 9 o'clock Friday at our regular time slot. Peace.
Hey.
Located in Henderson, Nevada, bulksupplements.com supplies over 400 pure nutritional supplements, ingredients to hundreds of thousands of consumers and manufacturers. All of their products are available from grams to metric tons through their online store at bulksupplements.com. Orders received 4 noon Pacific Standard Time shipped the same day. Their FDA-registered CGMP manufactured and distributing facility has a staff over 60 full-time employees that take pride in providing excellent customer service and producing quality products for their customers. The wellness of the community is of the utmost importance to Bulk Supplements. It's dedicated to maintaining all health code and government regulation. Each supplement is tested in their in-house laboratory before distribution, ensuring that all products are safe for consumption. For any additional testing, they utilize reputable and vetted US-based independent labs. Customer service is available 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time through live chat, phone, and email. Bulk Supplements products are produced in an FDA-registered and inspected manufacturing facility. So, if you want quality supplements at a quality price, Bulk Supplements is the company for you. Bulk Supplements, clean and pure bulk supplements. Check the link in the description section below for more information. Energy Muse is a leading conscious lifestyle brand offering empowering tools in the form of crystals and crystal jewelry to assist you on your spiritual journey. Their main and sole mission is to empower people and help them tap into their own personal magnificence. Each sacred piece is handmade with love and cleansed, energized, and programmed with intention to create a desired outcome. Healing crystals can help you realign and recalibrate your energy through their powerful vibrations. Healing crystals act as a tool to raise your vibration and create lasting change across all areas of your life. They hold a transformational energy that empowers you on your journey no matter what your goal is. Are you ready to find love, a new career? Do you want to have a fulfilling, meaningful, purposeful life? When you are ready to release what does not serve you or enhance a particular area of your life, call upon the high frequencies of healing crystals to help you live the life of your dream. At Energy Muse, they have a massive supply of crystals, jewelries, energy tools, bath and body products to help you become the best you that you can possibly be. So if you're interested in healing crystals and jewelry, check out Energy Muse. The link is in the description section below.
The Klein's family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Klein's friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Klein's thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, Nuts and Confessions, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence in the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section.
Who that to the Black and Gold family members in the building. Big ups to the family members for supporting the live stream. First and foremost, thank you for all that you've done. I'd like to give a special shout out to all the family members out there that have been responsible for the growth of helping the platform by sharing of the links, as well as many other positive things, shopping at the merch shops. But if you really want to take it to the next level, consider joining our Patreon. Patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, where you can join up and become a monthly contributor. We have several different options to become a Patreon member, from $1 going up. So it depends on your level of commitment, and we really appreciate what you guys are doing as you continue to see the growth and success at the PRO Media Network. If you want to ratchet up your support, please feel free to become a member at the patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, where you will have access to locked content, the TSC Q&A live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Over 20 shows are available right now, and also On Cue with Big Q, where we talk about those real topics and subjects. Are also over 10 shows of those are available. You can get access to locked content and plus visual respect on our scrolling banners from YouTube members to our Patreon champion. So please feel free to join now at patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. Thank you very much.